So when some load is applied on a soil mass, because of that, if this load is large, so the movement of particles will take place and they come closer to each other, and if water is there, then water movement will also take place. So all these things are can be understood by using the effective stress analysis. So the total stress can be given as, for a given load P, it can be given as the total load divided by the gross area. And for a soil mass, if we want to find out the total stress at this point O, so it can be given as total force divided by total area. So total force will be the total load up to this point. If I say the area of this sample is A, so the total load will be gamma d times H1 into A for this part, and gamma saturated times H2 into A, and divided by total area. So the total stress can be written as gamma d H1 plus gamma saturated into H2. It means that total stress can be found out simply by multiplying the unit weight and the depth up to which that soil is there of that unit weight. So gamma d unit weight soil is there for a depth of H1, so gamma d times H1, and gamma saturated is there for a depth of H2, so gamma saturated times H2. So total stress is a measurable parameter, and it can be measured by a suitable arrangement such as pressure cell. So the total stress, it consists of two parts. It consists of effective stress plus the pore water pressure. So let's see these two one by one. So first let's see the pore water pressure. So pore water pressure is the hydrostatic pressure up to that point for which we want to calculate. So if water table is there up to this point and the depth of this point is H1, so the pore water pressure can be given as gamma W times H1, and it is also a measurable parameter, and it can be measured using a standpipe or a piezometer. So it is inserted up to a point up to which the pore water is to be measured, and the rise of water in the piezometer or in standpipe gives us the, multiplied by the unit weight of the water, gives us the pore water pressure. But if some, this formula is valid when these stresses whatever is there upon that point, like if this point we are considering, so this saturated soil mass is there for a long time and this dry soil mass is also there for a long time, then this formula is valid. And if some new stress comes on this soil mass, then because of that new stresses will be induced, and some extra pore water pressure will come, and that will cover when we study the consolidation part. So there it will be further cleared. So the next part is the effective stress. Effective stress, as I said, it is the total stress is the sum of effective stress plus pore water. In this we can measure total stress, we can measure the pore water pressure, but we cannot measure the effective stress, so it is found out by the difference of total stress and the pore water pressure. So what do we mean by effective stress? Let's say it is a soil like this, and this is the plane we are considering, and these are the soil particles. And if some load P is applied from the top, there will be water in these pores. So this is a particle, and because of this applied force P, these interparticle forces will develop, and if we take the component of these interparticle forces in the normal direction and tangential direction, let's say this normal component is n dash, there will be tangential component, so let's say that is T. So if we take the vertical equilibrium of this force. So P can be given as, if n dash is the normal component of this one particle, so for all the particles, the normal component of interparticle forces we can write as sigma n dash, plus U is the pore water pressure. So pore water pressure is being applied in the area of pores. So area of pores, let's say that is AW, and if we divide it by the total area or gross area, so it can be written as n dash by A plus U to AW by A. Now these interparticle forces are being applied at the contact point of these particles. So these contact points are very small. This A, if I say interparticle, this contact area is AC, then this is negligible, and so the total area is almost equal to the area of pores. So in this formula, P by A is equal to sigma n dash upon A plus U. So these two terms will cancel. And here sigma n dash upon A is the effective stress. So P by A is the total stress, and that is sum of effective stress plus pore water pressure. So what is the effective stress? Effective stress is the normal component of the interparticle forces divided by the gross area. It is not divided by the contact area of interparticle forces. So if we write the interparticle force divided by contact area, that term is called as interparticle stress. But it is not interparticle stress. Interparticle stress could be measured if we knew the this contact area, but because this term is the interparticle force divided by the gross area, so this is not a measurable quantity, and it can only be found out by the difference of total stress and the pore water pressure. So one thing I forgot to mention, this pore water pressure, as it is also called the neutral pressure. So why is it called the neutral pressure? Because in a soil mass, water will be applied from all the directions. That pressure will be applied due to the water, because it is a hydrostatic pressure, so it is applied from all the directions, and it has no shear component. So this pressure does not push the particle towards the other particle, or it does not push it away from the other particle, so it is neutral. So because of that, it is called as the neutral stress. And the effective stress, if we want to calculate, so it is the difference of total stress minus pore water pressure. So let's say the initially what example I had given. So at this same point, if I want to find out the effective stress, so it can be given as total stress is this much, so gamma D into H1 plus gamma saturated into H2, and minus the pore water pressure. So the pore water pressure will be gamma W into H1 plus H2. Sorry, this water table is here. So gamma, it is gamma W into H2, because it is just, it will be calculated for this distance. This this water table is here, so it can be written as gamma D into H1 plus gamma saturated minus gamma W is the gamma submerged. So gamma submerged time H2. This is the general formula for effective stress. So if we directly want to find out the effective stress, so we can multiply it by the, if it is a dry soil or partially saturated soil, then simply multiply it by the depth, and if it is a saturated soil, then multiply the depth with the submerged unit weight. So this way we can find out the effective stress.